What's up guys, Enkiri here. Today, kind of piggybacking off my main video from last Friday, I want to go into a little bit more detail about the whole science-based exercise movement or evidence-based training or whatever you want to call it. It's all essentially the same thing. But basically, without sugarcoating it too much, I find it for the most part to be pretty dumb. And before you get all riled up and start writing out your hate rants, just hear me out first. The problem is twofold, really. For one, it's allowed certain people to kind of BS their way into gaining notoriety simply because they can spew out study results. And I kind of touched on how I feel about a lot of exercise science research in my last video, so I won't delve too deeply into that again. But the problem with this approach really is that the majority of the information generally lacks practical applicability. It's all kind of looked at in a vacuum, but it's not really worth anything like that. So unless you've then gone out and applied the bits and pieces that can actually be applied in some way or another, which are few and far between in my opinion, and then determine what's actually useful and what's just garbage, then the information in and of itself doesn't have any value. And how could you continually apply all of this information? There's too much of it. And there's more and more being done every day, and half the new research refutes half of what the old research said, and it would just be impossible to keep up with it all while actually using any of it for long enough to see any actual results in your training. So no one can ever really be completely up to date with the research in a truly meaningful manner. And so ultimately, we've ended up with a whole slew of popular influencers, or whatever the hell you want to call them, that have become very adept at the art of mental masturbation, simply for the sake of consistently churning out content. But a lot of these people have no practical experience, and they haven't achieved any notable results for themselves and are just regurgitating relatively useless information while leaning on science as a means of credibility. And sadly, even to justify very lazy methods of training. So that's a little pet peeve of mine. Professions that exist for the sake of themselves are stupid, and that act under the guise of being educational when the knowledge they're passing on is utter minutia with almost no practical application to anybody that actually wants to see results. Well, that's an unfortunate occurrence. But anyway, I really want to focus less on the people who disseminate this information and more on the effect that it has on the people who it's targeted at. And so that leads me to my second point, which is the rampant spreading of this abundance of self-purportedly important, but in reality generally useless and bloated pool of knowledge causes a great deal of overanalysis and inaction, as well as misguided action. Even just a cursory browsing of any lifting forum or YouTube fitness comment section will present you with hordes of examples of people who have no idea where to begin. They don't even know what the fundamentals are. But probably simply due to sheer volume at this point, they've certainly taken all of these tiny little pointless details to heart. They don't know enough to know what they don't know, but they've been so inundated with this self-important, overly analytical crap that they think they need to worry about what direction their pinkies are facing when they do their lateral raises in order to maximize lateral deltoid activation. But they're not even doing overhead presses. They fret over whether the hack squat or the leg press is going to build bigger quads, but they've never done a barbell squat in their life. They're worried about creating a perfect meal plan with all their macros dialed in down to the fucking gram, with the exact amount of protein per pound of body weight that research shows is needed to build optimal amounts of muscle. But they're not even going to adhere to that plan for more than 4 days anyway, and all they really need to do is learn a little bit of consistency in their eating habits and focus on getting just a little bit more protein and total calories in, and then doing that every single day. Just yesterday, I had a random teenager walk up to me and stop me in the street to ask me what my meal plan is because I'm buff as fuck. I told him I don't have one, and he couldn't believe it because obviously you have to have a meal plan and know precisely what your exact macros and total calories are to be jacked, right? Or maybe people are just overthinking shit because they get constantly fed minutia, no pun intended, that doesn't apply to them by people with minimal practical experience who love to overcomplicate shit in order to sound smart. Citing research studies is fucking A1 though, right? So these people are bombarded with all of this pointless information that they think they have to utilize in order to get the best results. And there's so much of it that they just don't know where to start. So they analyze and they overanalyze and they overanalyze and they create perfect meal plans and perfect training plans, and they make sure all their joints and muscle groups are perfectly in balance before they begin laying their foundation, because you can't build on a shaky foundation. But the thing is, it's not perfect now, and it's never gonna be perfect. And you'll go a lot farther if you stop worrying about the new research and all the minuscule details and just get to work on the fundamentals, which are what they are and are never going to change. Never let perfect become the enemy of good. I like to consider myself a pragmatist, so even though no one asked, I'm going to give you guys some practical advice right now. Pick a handful of compound exercises that are harder than something else you'd rather be doing. Pick a handful of rep ranges that you like and enjoy, and progressively overload those rep ranges for a few years, and make sure you bust your ass when you're in the gym. Get a lot of sleep, drink a lot of water. If you want to gain weight and get strong, then eat more protein and more calories than you are right now. If you want to lose weight, then still eat more protein than you are right now, but eat less calories. And go for a fucking walk regardless, just because. Do these things and do them all every day, and do that for a long fucking time. And then in your free time, call your mother. I'm sure that would make her so happy. Or take your girlfriend out, or chill with your boys. But stop analyzing and researching and worrying about the pointless details and minutia of training and exercise science and exercise nutrition. There are a million other better ways to be spending your time. And I guarantee you that if you follow the basic rules that I just outlined, you'll get farther than 99.99% of people that you're ever gonna meet in your lifetime. And you don't need to worry about any of the science or your macros or whether you should be doing fucking banded wrist curls or wrist curls with a barbell. Consistency, hard work, and the fundamentals. Those are literally the only things that matter. And you can forget absolutely everything else. And I promise you, not only will you not miss a fucking beat, but you'll be so far ahead of the rest of the pack that they won't even be able to see you anymore. Anyway, that's all I got for now, guys. Please be sure to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And definitely leave me some love in the comments down below. Also, if you're interested in online coaching with an emphasis on practicality and the tried and true basics, feel free to shoot me an email at enkiri.elite@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to pass some more information your way. Keep training hard, and I will catch you guys next time.